Approaching Oscar season, there are many movies that are getting the recognition that they deserve. The Brutalist is one of the most nominated movies of the year, and finally, My Regal has given us the opportunity to see it. Now, with two showings a day, with it being a 3.5 hour long movie, it does make it difficult if you are trying to just go and view it. So it is definitely one of those movies where if you are wanting to see it, I should say, around here, you are definitely going to have to find the time. Now, with The Brutalist, I will point out that it was a film that the original trailer did not seem very intriguing. When it first started showing in the theater, you really just kind of thought, what is this actually about? Now, the storyline, as everybody knows, is set post World War. You have a Jewish immigrant coming to America, specifically in Pennsylvania, to really settle down, restart a life, but ultimately faces many challenges. Now, I have made this comment many times before, and that is we are getting a lot of World War II or post World War II movies since 2024. And so what the purpose of this movie is really seems to be success. Finding the American dream, achieving everything that you have set out. But the real question is, should you go see and sit down through a 3.5 hour movie? And honestly, my opinion on this movie is very mixed. The first half of this movie is excellent. The storytelling made sense. You actually could see the actors and actresses within the movie really telling the story in a way that made you understand the struggles they were going through. Felicity Jones and Adrian Brody are both excellent in this movie. The acting is definitely not something that is the downfall of this movie. I think where a lot of people are going to find a downfall is some of the scenes become so strung out. In a sense, you feel like they can be a lot shorter. You felt like the story that it was trying to tell could be told a different way. But then I also think my biggest downfall is post-intermission going into the second part. In many ways, that second part just left a lot of meat on the bones. It did not really tell as great of a story as the first part. And I know in my theater, there were people that started to get up and leave. And from what I read before going in, a lot of people said that was where they wish they would have left, was after the intermission. Now, when you are an audience that is sitting through a 3.5 hour movie, you want it to be something that is going to be engaging the whole time. And unfortunately, in many ways, I do not see this film as such. Now, as I said, the acting from both all the actresses and actors is not the problem in this movie. The problem in this movie is you're trying to tell a specific story of the American dream and chasing it as an immigrant and coming from post-World War II, but you have certain grotesque scenes that appear, but in some ways they don't necessarily make sense. And I understand the art of making a movie, but there's one specific scene where a situation happens, but yet they go along with it and then afterwards act almost as if it didn't happen. So in many places and in many ways, I felt that the drawn out version of this movie could have been condensed. And when it comes to movies like this, I understand people will say, you're supposed to appreciate it. You got to understand the arts. Everything about it is great. But that's not always the case. And I feel like with a movie like this, going out on a limb and saying, this movie is a 3 out of 5, in my opinion, people will just say, oh, you don't understand it. you don't appreciate it, you don't respect the work, and that's not the case. You can have great actors or actresses, and you can have a good storyline at the beginning. But then if a storyline begins to fade and fall, not everybody has to conform to the media and actual critics saying that it was a masterpiece. And I feel like that is what a film like this is going to provide. Same thing with Oppenheimer. I think Oppenheimer was that long movie, and it was one of those where if you spoke out and said, "Oh, it was not that good," people just said, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about." But A24 always comes with great movies. But this one is a 3 out of 5. I felt that half of it was perfect, and part two, second half, however you want to say it, is not it. And I felt like that last part of the movie is a time frame I wish I would have left. But The Brutalist is a solid movie up until intermission, and that's where it falls in the 3 out of 5. But like I said, go check out my other reviews I have posted. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Go check out The Brutalist if you want to see what the Oscar hype is about. Like I said, be cautious. It's not available everywhere. It's one of those, it may be shown 1 or 2 times a day. It is a long movie, but that is not the main purpose of this review. But thank you all for watching, and I will talk to you all later.